This is 5 Minutes of Political Common Sense for America. I'm Brian Boeheim, the political engineer. And in this segment, I want to talk about the federal budget. In particular, I want to talk about how sick and tired I am of the politics surrounding the federal budget. Can we please hear more about how budget cuts will save our great-grandchildren from a future of misery beyond our scariest nightmares? Better yet, one more time, explain to me how trimming social programs will drive our grandfathers to die a painful, lonely death because the government wasn't there to save them. Or, my real favorite, why don't you just shut up and do the job that you were hired to do? Do the job with some common sense, the common sense that was given to you at birth. It isn't rocket science. We need to choose our investments more carefully. We need to get the government out of the investment banking business, and we need to create jobs. How much more simple could it be? Let's talk about the investing part. There are three types of programs. Ones that protect the public, ones that support the public, and ones that provide opportunity for the public. The problem we have and have had in this country is that the politicians have been spending too much of our money on projects that support the public and not enough on the other two. Why not? Because it gets them votes. Think about it. Who doesn't like free stuff? But at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves how it changes the work ethic and the motivation to make a better life for future generations. It confounds me how the politicians in Washington and our state capitals can't tell the difference between a successful program and a failed one. Or even worse, ones that have been mismanaged. The amount of fraud in Medicare and Medicaid systems, it's appalling. The welfare, child services, and housing projects, they all do good work. But the waste, the mismanagement, and the fraud reach into the billions of dollars each year. Don't even get me started on Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Where are the audits? Where's the accountability for these things? Before we go and strip programs and cut projects, why don't we just open our eyes and make sure all the money we are spending is going to the right places and doing the right things? Then, with the money we save, let's invest in projects that'll take us into the future. How about a 765 kilovolt power grid that will provide a future of low-cost energy? And by the way, it'll also give us the opportunity to use wind and solar. What about funding both nuclear and natural gas technology so that we can get off the foreign oil habit? But whatever you do, please, no more talk about trains. Next, we need to stop the government management of our retirement. Over and over, I hear about the budget, and then in the same breath, we hear about the national debt of $14 trillion. A $39 billion cut in this year's budget doesn't even cause the national debt ticker to slow down. Once and for all, these are totally different issues and are only minutely related. The one thing they do have in common is that the greatest expense in both is Social Security. Please, can someone give me just one good reason why the federal government runs the underfunded public pension plan called Social Security? Do you really trust a rotating set of politicians that can't even balance their own checkbooks to be your investment banker? It's time we start the process of unwinding Social Security into personal, privately held retirement accounts that are primarily invested in treasuries. This can be completed over a 30-year window without negatively impacting anyone, saving future generations from the pain of an ill-conceived and failed system. Finally, it's time to create jobs. Politicians have to be the worst historians of all time. They can't even remember what happened 20 years ago. If you look back to the meteoric rise of the 1990s economy, it becomes clear what will bring us out of the recession period. It's jobs. Jobs increase tax revenue with no tax increase required. The question is, how do we create jobs? Again, all we have to do is look back into history and we'll find that job creation and economic booms come from technology advances. The personal computer and the internet were the technologies of the 90s. But we can go back to the Great Depression and realize that it was technology advances in the combustion engine, air flight, and refrigeration that changed our country forever. What is our next great advancement? I don't know for sure. Is it two-way streaming video? Will it be 256-bit body scanners that'll be able to see disease at a molecular level before it ever really gets to anything dangerous? Or how about solar panels that make houses self-sustaining from an energy perspective? Whatever it is, it won't happen with the over-regulating federal government control that we see right now with the FCC, the FDA, the DOE, the NLRB. It's time to quit making it hard to do business in America. If we want to make it successful, let's stop worrying about all the minutia, all the things. Let's just focus and use some common sense. Please, let's just use some common sense. You've been listening to 5 Minutes of Political Common Sense for America. I'm Brian Boeheim, the political engineer. If you like what you've heard here, go out and pick up a copy of my book, Political Common Sense for America. You can find it at Amazon.com. Until next time, be safe out there.